to where you can see what I am doing. All of you people over there, I have no idea how you're gonna watch me.
I'm recording it for anyone who can't see.
All right. Okay. I'll be looking at the janky nails or my thumbs. Oh, I just want to let you know. Did I tell you this? My mother came over that night, and I was like, "Do this." She did this. She does this. Exact same thing. My mother. I got it from my mama. Yep, I got it from my mama. Okay. It is generational. All right. We are going to learn understitching. You will be doing understitching a lot when you sew. The purpose of understitching, if you break down the word under and stitching, you're stitching something underneath so that it will not show. Does that make sense? So that it does not show. Now, this particular pattern piece tells you to cut 4. I'm going to simplify this. I only want you to cut 2. And I've already cut 2, okay? Because you don't need to watch me cut, all right? Don't cut 4, cut 2. We have a convex turn and we have a concave turn. We are going to do the inside neck. So this is like a neckline piece, maybe like for a collar, okay, for a little kid. This is gonna go underneath the neckline to finish off your neckline really nice, okay? I'm looking around at people's things. Nobody has one because you're all in like hoodies and stuff. Okay. Anyway, to finish off a neckline right here, we're going to do something called understitching. You can also do it on a neckline facing, which that's what we're going to use this as, or you can do it on just a plain seam allowance, all right? Or even on a lining, you can understitch. You can understitch any seam that you sew. It is so that neckline piece doesn't fly out from underneath, and it's to keep the lining or the facing or the underlining underneath. I know I just threw out a ton of terminology for you. The 2 main terminology pieces that I want you to remember, I wrote it on the board: understitching and serging. Now, I'm going to talk about understitching first, and then we're going to go over to the serger, okay? All right. So, here's our piece right here. We're going to stitch this piece right here. You can see that it is a curve, right? That's a curve. I can't straighten it out because there's too much fabric underneath here to straighten out, all right? So, how do I straighten out that piece? Anytime you have a curved piece, we are going to have to relieve some pressure down in here so that the fabric can straighten out like this. How would we do that? Speak up. Okay. Okay. First thing I'm going to do, I'm going to tell you. First thing I'm going to do, I'm going to stitch around this seam allowance. 5/8 is our seam allowance. We are going to check that. We are going to check that when we start our shirts on Monday. We will start checking that. I'm going to get some washi tape and we'll put that washi tape piece right there so you guys know exactly where your 5/8 is. Okay. Oh, first thing I'm going to do, I'm going to back stitch, go forward, and then back stitch. And then I am not watching my needle. I'm watching my little row over here, my little line. And I am going around, I'm following it around, just like we did with our paper. Don't go over your pins because I just hit mine. And then I'm going to back stitch. Okay? Stop with the needle. Take up right there. Okay. So we should look like this. I should have did it, sorry, in a different color so you could see it. That's noisy. All right, remove your pins. Now, if I was to turn this to the inside and press it down, what's gonna happen? Can I do that? No, I can't, because it's a curve, right? So anytime we have a curve like this, we want to release this seam. We want to make it straight. How do we do that? We're going to snip. We're going to snip into, the scissors are not quick, about 1 inch apart. You're not going to cut your, I don't want you to cut your stitching, but do you see how that just opened that up like that? You see that? That's exactly what I'm wanting. Then, now look at how nice it would press. You see that? How nice that is. Okay, we're going to take it one step further. So, if this is the neckline, like right here, you can see how this is sticking out right here. You see this under part is kind of sticking out. How do I get that from not sticking out? We understitch. Understitching is where you're going to take your seam allowance and you're going to stitch the seam allowance down to one piece of the underside. Not to both pieces, that would be top stitching. And that's a thing, but that's not what we're doing. So we're gonna press our seam allowance to one side and we're gonna stitch it down close to the edge of that. I'm gonna show you. Now you can do it on this side or you can do it on the other side. Normally when I do it personally, I like to do it on this side because this is the side that shows. But when you do that, you have to be very conscious about where your seam allowance is. I want you guys to do it on this side. So I have snipped my curve, right? I've snipped my curve, so now my curve opens straight. Now I'm going to understitch one side. Taking the seam allowance, I'm going to put it to the left. You can put it to the right. I don't care. And I'm going to stitch my seam allowance down. And I'm pulling this down, keeping this out of the way. Okay, I just can't stitch here because look, I got all this underneath here. I'm pulling it aside. You will do this on necklines, you'll do this on cuffs, you'll do it on so many different things. It is a design element, it is worth a point, and I'll cover all of that later. So it looks like this right now. Okay, it looks like that. You can see that I have stitched down that seam allowance right there to the inside facing. If I folded this over and pressed it, see how nice it looks now? It's not peeping out. This inside underneath here is not peeping out. And look, if you've done it correctly, you will see a stitching on this side, but not on this side. Okay? It's on this side, but not on this side. And that is what I'm looking for. That's exactly what I'm looking for. Then I want you to go and press this down. We're going to take it one step further and we're going to do some serging, okay? Especially for a lot of like evening wear dresses, your prom dresses, anything nice against the neck, you're going to have understitching, okay? You're gonna have understitching. Is there a reason why you guys are late? Okay, well, you missed the entire demonstration.
I'll send you the video.
Okay? All right, meet me at the serger.